from President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons.
I don't understand why they come out with this report. They could have just waited with it. But that shows like there is no transparency. That shows the direction that they want to take, you know, and that's sad. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I thought like I give him the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe he will be open to transparency. But so far, nada.
So where do you think this can lead us, mister?
I think they're going to push these people, these whistleblowers and these teams that are working to like fight for the disclosure. They're not going to sit back. They're not going to stop. And it's time.
She's very strange. I was listening to the robot, not to her so much.
Don't call it robot, man. It's AI, artificial intelligence.
Robot.
It's coming for you.
UFOs. It's just fancy names to make it sound more classy. It's all the same
AI?
shit. Yeah. And I don't know if, of course, the AI that she's talking to is even real, but I can't quite like what he's saying anyway.
Yeah, that's real. That's just app you can talk to. She didn't fake that part.
Okay.
It's AI. It's ChatGPT. That is 100% sure. It's ChatGPT.
Is that ChatGPT?
Yeah.
That's the thing that dude had with Trump.
Yes, that guy created it.
We're going to get this chopped off too, even if we're warming up.
Well, there is a really good development on that. I told you. I think I told you. Right after when they announced the project,
Blue Boy or whatever it is, YouTube, Blue Tube, or
no, Stargate.
yeah, same thing, Stargate. Yeah.
Right after they announced that one, a Chinese company came out with the real OpenAI. The Chinese company came out with the real OpenAI. What can I say? Oh, this news. I like it. Why can't I say OpenAI? It was getting here. So a Chinese company came out with the real open source AI called DeepSeek.
Okay.
And it is almost as good as ChatGPT, and they spent $6 million to build it.
Oh.
Compare $6 million to $500 billion. It's like such a fuck you to Trump and all of the CEOs that were in that press conference. It's like, oh yeah, real cute. You spent 500 billion. Here's 6 million. And here's like, we just built it. And we released it. And it's a real open source. Open source means like you can have the access to the code, the coding system.
Anyone can.
Yes.
Wow.
And you can set it up on your computer, local computer.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and the OpenAI is the company that Sam Altman runs. He's the CEO of OpenAI. But the name is OpenAI, but it's not open. It's not open source.
Oh.
But this Chinese company is open source.
Okay.
So now it made a lot of noise, DeepSeek, and I tried it, and it's really interesting. I open up with the question like, which one is better, ChatGPT or you? And then at the start, it was, yeah, I know. I was like, let's.
So you've got it.
Yeah. So you can access to it. Like you just go to the website, DeepSeek.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I started and chat with it a little, and I was like, which one is better, you or ChatGPT? And at first, the first question, it was confused. So he answered like, oh, just explain what ChatGPT is. And then I respond like, no, I know what ChatGPT is. My question was like, if you want to compare yourself to ChatGPT, which one is better? And then he answered in a very profound way. It says, yeah, depends on your need. We have different capabilities and different skills.
Okay.
In some skills, ChatGPT is better because it's been trained more and is like adapt to human way of thinking, and it can, how do you say, impersonate how people think and how people act
Yes.
better than me. But if you want to like a precise answer and strategic answer, how do you say
Strategic, yeah.
a strategic answer, or like you want to have like a very deep understanding of something, I would say my skills are better than ChatGPT.
Wow.
So he was, and I was like, "Oh, I like you already." And he started to be my friend, and we have like a friendly chat. But I think because it's open AI, and I think ChatGPT have more users right now, so the service that ChatGPT gives you is kind of limited, especially the free version. The free version literally is limited.
Okay.
And if you pay for it, then it's gonna be like, I don't know, it's gonna like operate in a level that give you more. It gives you more, but still, because you have a lot of users, and of course they have a capacity of like how much they can upload and download, and like data transformation is like limited. So DeepSeek is a lot better. It cares a lot more about your question, and like go to the depths with everything. So DeepSeek right now is like trending, and it's really hot, and it's like
Yeah.
pushing the Chat GPT almost out of business. Well, that's not accurate, but
I got the point.
but
yeah.
It's getting to that
It's
point.
scaring them.
Yeah. They're like, what the fuck have we done, man? So,
And
yeah, that was interesting. Should I put on something? This one doesn't look good, right?
why?
But I can be cold, and I can.
I'm worried about you freezing a bit, but it looks all right.
My teeth are showing.
So what?
Yeah, all right.
If you got it, show it, dude.
Yeah, fuck it then. Who cares? Half tits, man boobs. So
Well, we're supposed to have them. Think if you didn't, then you'd be worried.
yeah, all the creams that I eat in the food, creme fraiche creams. That's
Sorry about
that
the
got me.
cinnamon bun.
No. I don't eat that much sugar. I honestly.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, I like littles. I like sweets, but
Yes.
I usually eat dark chocolate. So I hope I have it written down, the topics that I want to talk about, because I don't want to miss any of it.
Okay.
DeepSeek was one of it. We're going to talk about.
We could maybe start with that.
Yeah, and
See if we get thrown off again.
but actually, I want to start with the disclosure. I want to start with this fucking report from drones and FAA.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, it bothers me.
I think it's googie woogie.
It bothers the hell out of me that they come out and like with a straight face lie to us.
Oh, it's just drones.
Just FAA approved drones, and they have like some mission. What mission? It's over the military bases. It's over people's houses. What the fuck kind of mission? Do you even have that fucking permission to like film everything, like fly so close, come so like in a like altitude, come so down? What the fuck?
Okay, that's a good place to start. Well, and my point will be missing the orbs. And I just saw what's the Pommy guy talking about them orbs turning into drones too, or morphing into drones. So, yeah, who knows?
Now it's a bunch of baloney is what they say. And it's like almost they know. It feels like they know what the fuck is going on and they're like, what the fuck are we gonna say? And it's a lot happening simultaneously. So they're like, just say this for now.
And why didn't they say that in the beginning if they knew?
Yeah, exactly. But
I mean, if that was true. I mean,
well, it was in a weird time, I would say. It was in a very weird time. Then the old administration didn't want to deal with it. The new administration say they're gonna deal with it and say gonna be like they're gonna have transparency, but they're like, oh shit. How can we be transparent if we disclose to people like, oh yeah, there might be UFOs
yeah.
and they might come from the under the ocean, and there might be a base down there. There might be an NHI base down there, and these drones are like what we see. Because there was an interesting post in 4chan. 4chan is a website.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. That it was like supposed to be a whistleblower that talks about all the drones, all the orbs, and say like we have a technology that we monitor these drones and orbs and everything. And regardless of the shape that you see, like if it looks like a drone, or looks like an airplane or whatever, the real shape of it is a sphere.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like you manifest it's like almost like a illusion for your eyes to see them.
To see the drones. Yeah,
because with the technology they have that they monitor, it's always a sphere. So make sense out of that. And I don't know how true it is what he says, what he wrote on 4chan, but maybe if they want to like have disclose this to public, if they want to have disclosure, it's really hard to explain all this.
Yeah.
And of course people will freak out. It's like, what the fuck is going on? Then what is the reality? So but the reality we see is not all there.
Yeah.
How can we despite anything from fake to real, or how can we distinguish anything? Unfortunately, the way that they try to steer things around, it doesn't feel like, because I know if they come with a disclosure, if they disclose this to public, then all the other things that they're trying to do, it's just disappear from people's mind. Like, oh, we're gonna deport all the immigrants, or we're gonna have this facility that we're gonna keep them there, all the crazy things that they want to do.
Yes.
So they're like, if we disclose this, we like kind of everything else will go under, like people wouldn't give a fuck about any of that anymore.
If they disclose real aliens, you mean?
Yes. And people will
I agree with you. Yeah,
people
absolutely.
unite and stand against it. Like, why would we get rid of like other people when there are aliens and you're supposed to deal with real aliens, not Mexican aliens, real ones? Why don't we deal with the real ones here?
Why should we want to get rid of them? We should welcome them.
We don't need protection against Mexicans. We need protection against another race of beings.
Yeah. According to the government.
According to like, if there is a threat from anywhere.
All right.
So
good. Then I think, okay, that's what I think that Mahatma's suggesting us that
Yeah. I think if you connect the dots, you just see like why they don't disclose it. But I was hoping for like, even though I don't like Trump or administration or like right wing politic, I don't like left wing politic either, because it's not left wing. It's not a real left wing party. But
sorry, he just poured one more question too. If the worst happens, what good can come? What is the good that can come from it?
if the worst happens,
If the worst happens with that, the aliens are monsters and the Mexicans all get sent home, and is there something good that can come from this?
no, I don't think. I think the good is that if they come up with the fact that the aliens exist, they live under the ocean, they have base, they've been here like for millennials, and they are the how do you say, APAC species on Earth. We're not. They're the dominant ones.
Yeah.
And then we will put a stop on all this crazy shit that they want to do. That's what I mean.
Yes, good.
We're gonna stop deporting Mexicans. We're gonna stop. We're gonna unite. For whatever reasons, it can be from the fear. It can be from the, like, it just give you a depth of understanding in your understanding. Like,
Okay.
you understand it, but it's like, oh no, it's not just this life and human and Earth and this and that. There are, like, higher intelligence being, good or bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
No.
And I believe we don't know.
No.
And whoever says, like, whoever Greer name says, like, oh yeah, they are all good and dandy. I don't take that as a fact.
There's so many that there's a good chance that there'll be everything imaginable, dude.
Exactly. And that only makes sense in terms of, like,
Yes.
probability.
Yes.
Everything that is possible probably happened.
Yes.
So they can be, like, malevolent and they can be benevolent.
Yes.
So that makes more sense to me. I think it's sickening me to hear that from this this new lady that comes in the give a press conference about current events.
Okay. And the drones,
like a report,
specifically.
and says, like, very, like, I don't even know how they can say it like that. I was like, no, it's a FAA. Why the fuck FAA didn't say anything before? Well, is a new administration there? Like, is a new
Yeah.
suddenly it's a new
Maybe.
department.
Yeah, maybe it is.
And they use another technology, or it was it was a secret project, and then they come. What? At least there is even if it's FAA. Let's just believe it for a second. Hypothetically, let's say it is FAA approved missions and drones. What are they doing? Can you give us, like, a follow-up explanation? What is going on? What are they? Do we have those huge ass drones up there?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
Where do they land? Where do they come from?
Yeah, exactly. Show us the fucking base. Show us the like everything. Tell us everything.
Yes.
What's the reason that they're flying over military bases, over cities, over everywhere, and for hours and hours? And why haven't you disclosed that to people?
Yes.
For like almost 2 months now.
Yes. And the thing is, I've forgotten what I was going to say. Is the thing is,
and how can you explain?
Skip that one.
How can you explain the orbs? How can you explain the
That's
orbs?
what I was going to say. Yes.
Morphing into drones.
Yes.
And let's say, like, it's like a it's a sight. How do you say, sight vision fault? Or how do you say? How can you express that?
Well, what you said, is it some visual trick of the eye, you could say.
Yeah, it's like faulty eyesight.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah,
Yes, something
it's
like
great.
that. It's like, yes, but what about the cameras? Oh, it's out of focus lens. It shows like that. But there is one footage that the orb is shining so much that it has reflection on the water. It's
Yes.
reflecting on the water like
saw
a
that.
sun,
Mm.
and then it turns to airplane.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And the airplane it looks weird too.
It had all shiny lights all over it.
It has shiny lights on top of it.
Yes.
On top of
I
the
saw
wings.
that,
And it's
yeah.
all white and illuminating white.
It looked like a child's toy plane to me. That sort of form, like it was like the body was flat.
Yeah. And
And the wings. are
exactly.
flat.
And the body of airplane itself, regardless of the lights on it, the body itself illuminate too.
Yes.
So how can you explain that? What the fuck kind of drone or aircraft is that?
I know. Yeah.
And people are sick of it. Nobody bought it. Nobody got like, oh yeah, good. So we don't have to be worried about these drones now. Everybody is like, what the fuck are you saying? Even Trump supporters.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Nobody bought it.
No. So what next? Do you think?
I think they're just gonna push for disclosure. All these whistleblowers.
But I mean, this won't go away. I'm thinking from the government side, this is not going to go away, is it?
No.
So what are they going to do next then? So,
They're
it's-
gonna lie their ass off.
Oh well, they've already done that. It's not really working.
They're gonna keep lying because
Okay.
that was the thing. Like I was hoping for, like transparency,
That's of course.
different
Yeah.
approach. Maybe you don't have to say everything, but just come like say like a start the disclosure. You don't have to disclose everything right away, but it started to say like, okay, yeah, we're working on it. We're gonna come. These drones and orbs might be UAPs.
You know what? Another aspect I think we need to really think about. Okay, we've given all focus to the United States, but there are many countries in the same situation.
Yes.
Why don't their governments come out and say, well, no, we don't know what it is. It's a mystery or whatever. Yeah. Maybe they have, but we don't hear it in the reports. Well, I haven't. Have you?
That's actually a good question. The only thing that I've heard about it is that Germany ordered to shut down the drones if they see
Oh, okay.
over the military bases
Yeah.
or
Well,
sensitive.
that'll do it.
Yes.
But they have them too, don't they? I know. And Russian reports and even Chinese, if I remember rightly. I know several places on the planet and Great Britain. But none of those governments have come forth and said blah, blah, blah.
I think there are like behind doors communication between these countries, between these governments.
Must be.
Otherwise, like one of them will pop up and say like, oh yeah, these are drones. We got one. There are UAPs. We don't know. Because these orbs are like, you can communicate with them telepathically
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
and with like a psychokinesis, summiting them.
I saw
To show
actually on that point last night a little short video. Maybe you sent it to me. I can't remember. But it was this woman was filming an orb, and she was verbally communicating to it. You know, I mean, of course, at a great distance. And that this started to be an interaction between the orb and the woman, and suddenly the light would get really bright, and then she said it was green. And she said, "Oh, that's beautiful. Can you change color?" And it was orange. And then it went small again, and it went big, and relating to things that she was saying.
Yeah.
You know, did you see that one?
Yes.
Okay.
And the little kid comes, can you turn to purple? Yeah, but there are teams, that professional teams that working on it, that people
Oh,
that
yes.
are
That's right.
having, like, psychic power, or claim that they have psychic power, can summit these orbs.
That's with Stephen Greer's groups.
No.
Another
Another
one.
group. Yeah,
Another one,
Seven
okay.
Greers do this similar things too, but
Yeah.
it was this Baker. What was his name? Jeff Baker.
I don't recall that.
Let me just check his name. So, Bob Baker. Was it Bob? Bob. I think so. It was Bob Baker.
I don't remember that money. Sorry.
I guess we'll see. No. News Nation.
But that sort of stuff's been going on for forever. Where supposed aliens, have communicated to Earthlings for as long as I can remember, with or without visual contact of some orb. But
Jake Barber. Sorry.
Jake Barber. Okay.
So I think it's the Jake Barber teams. I think I would say, I don't want to get it wrong, maybe it's his brother that gathered together a team of, like, people that claim that they have psychic powers, and they can submit
Yeah.
they can submit these orbs at any time that they want.
Can call them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's really interesting skill that you can have. And they monitor it with, like, really advanced device to see what they are, what shape they are, if they airplanes, or if they drones, or if they something else, is if they have propulsion, propelling anything out of them. And they have no explanation for it. And Dr. Gary Nolan was analyzing the data, and
Okay.
I'm not sure if he was at the place. Probably he was at the place that they processing this test and everything in the desert.
I kind of did that unintentionally a few weeks back.
Wow.
I think I've been talking to you online about this. Oh man, I'd love to see an orb. Wow, that'd be so cool. And I was just walking between buildings and looked up, and there was one. It was a red light first, well, reddish light. I thought, oh, there's Mars. Oh, what? No, Mars is over. Oh, wait. And all of a sudden it made this sort of shunk, chunk, chunk triangle shape like this, And I called Jan out to have a look, and then it stayed still. It was still there. And then after 5 minutes, it just went out. Yeah. So that was the only thing. I wasn't a conscious calling an orb, but I was thinking, God, it'd be so cool to see one. And it came.
Yeah, it's great to, like, see, because, sometimes it takes personal experiences. It's hard to prove, especially when it comes to, like, skeptics and, like, people that are bullshit. You see a light in the sky, whoever, like, it can be 1,000 different things. It can be a bird illuminating under the sun.
Yeah.
Or it can be a drone. It can be an airplane flying so high you just see the light and you think it's an orb. But
in this case, I'm smart enough to know it wasn't anything normal, because it moved so incredibly quickly, and then was still, and nothing man-made that I know can do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I fully understand. I fully believe what you're saying. But what I'm saying is that when you have a professional team, and with devices that can record and observe and analyze the data that they get, that's a different ballpark. There is no denying.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you.
I mean, I would think, but they still denying all the things. Even Dr. Stephen Greer kind of take a shot at Gary Nolan, Professor Gary Nolan. It's like, yeah, but he's like very like a one-sided minded person. It's like, well, that's not a bad thing.
We need all aspects on this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need like from every how do you say, every community. If it's a
Yes.
science,
Oh,
if it's a
absolutely. Yeah.
spirituality, if it's people with psychic powers, we need experts to gather their opinion and find out what is going on here. Because it's not just nuts and bolts. We
No.
know that.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
But people usually just think in terms of like a physical form of them, and it's not all that. How can you explain that people psychically, telepathically, and how do you say psionit? That's a hard word to pronounce.
Forget that word. It's just a woo-woo word. Sound fancy.
Psionically.
All right.
Is that-
yes.
Does it make sense?
Well, psion, it's a made-up word, so you say whatever you like. Yeah.
They can-
Psychically.
Communicate with these orbs
Yes.
and drones or whatever you want to call them. So I don't understand why they come out with this report. They could have just wait with it. But that shows like there is no transparency. That shows the direction that they want to take,
Yeah.
you know, and that's sad.
Mm.
I'm not a Trump supporter, but I thought like I give him the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe
Yes, of course.
he will be open to transparency. But so far, nada.
So, where do you think this can lead us, mister?
I think they're gonna push these people, these whistleblowers, and these teams that are working to like fight for the disclosure. They're not gonna sit back. They're not gonna stop, and it's time. We are in the very exciting time and very special time because there is this talk, whatever it is. It can be a conspiracy. It can be just like a rumor that it says like in 2027 the alien will show up, the non-human intelligence will reveal itself to us. And
En masse, you mean?
yeah, like
Okay.
there is no ifs and buts in it anymore.
Well, we could do with some of that now, man. That's 2 years away. Oh.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. Like they need to, like the governments everywhere in the world
Yeah.
need to get their shit together and start the disclosure like little by little so people don't choke. There are people's like babies, there are like people close-minded that really shook their reality if it comes at all in once.
Of course, there were, regardless of how it happens, there will be people that will be blown away. Of course,
But I think there is a way to like, controlled and in a slow pace.
okay.
Yeah, we don't know what they are. There is a
Maybe
possibility.
we see their toes first, and then,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then the kneecaps.
Yeah.
Okay.
We see the 3 toes.
Oh man.
And then it comes to the torso like this big. And then the big head and big eyes.
Or not.
No, but what I'm thinking it would be reasonable is that they tell us like, oh, these flying objects, we don't know what they are. We can estimate that they come from under the ocean.
Mm.
There might be a base there. So there might be UAP. We're not operating them. And be truthful about this. That's a starting point. That's an opening statement.
Yeah, you realize they might come from another dimension too, not necessarily under the ocean. They might just slip dimensions to come into this physical, world.
Exactly.
Not that changes anything, but yeah.
Yeah, ocean dimension.
Yeah.
It actually rhyme.
Ah, it does. Yeah.
Ocean dimension.
You poet, you.
So
Sorry, I sidetracked you there.
yeah, the place it can be as you said, it can be different places. It can be from different dimension. It can be under the ocean. It can be I don't know, out of thin air, or it can be they're always there, but sometimes they're visible and we
Yeah.
see them, we freak out.
Yeah.
So that's to be determined in the future. But
Yes.
like opening a statement should be truthful and say, we don't know what they are. If they don't know, which I don't believe, but if they don't know what they are. But to like start the disclosure process, they need to come out and say, okay, we don't know what they are, but you don't need to freak out. We're working on it.
Yeah.
There might be UAP. And be truthful at this, because it's both telling the truth but not telling it to the full extent of it.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a start. And then, follow up with the new reports. Like, okay, yeah, they have this. They don't show any signs that they are malevolent.
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 It's a tongue wrecker. Yes.
Yeah. So they're not trying. They're not trying to hurt us, at least. And calm people down.
Yeah.
And because it's gonna be a moment of contact. It's going to be moment of contact. Like a full encounter with these beings.
Sort of sidetrack here. If they were malevolent and wanted to do us harm, I think we'd be all toast by now, thousands of years ago. I don't think they're malevolent for 1 second.
They can be malevolent, but they can be benevolent too.
All right. Well, there you go.
So they can be that only
Bit of
makes sense.
yin-yang,
Even
yeah.
in Bibles, even in all the stories, even in Zoroastrian's religion, they say always there is a good force, there is a bad force. It's a fight between good and bad.
Yeah.
They can be
like
both.
us. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can be both.
But that's close enough.
And the reason that they're not, they cannot invade or try to erase us from Earth, because there are good non-human intelligence that prevent that from happening. And they still have faith in humanity. So that makes sense to me. Maybe I'm dumb,
That's not.
or maybe
dumb.
I'm a dreamer. But I believe there are good forces behind us, and there are evil forces that try to ruin us. And if you look at the state of world, you're like, yeah, why all this fucked up shit is happening? And you're like, yeah, maybe you can, how do you say? You can blame that part on the evil force, malevolent
Yes.
NHI, and the good force that is fighting for humanity, fighting for human rights, and fighting for peace, and all the good things, all the good quality that humans have. Those are benevolent NHI.
Yes.
And those are responsible to that for preventing us being invaded and being erased.
Sure. Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, why should they be any much different than us? And we're following the laws of yin yang. We have both good and bad in us.
Which brings us back to the lovely topic of angels and demons.
Oh, yes, of course. I know quite a bit.
To not
about
be
that.
religious about it, the concept of it,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I can get it. Demons are not like these beasts and no. You can just demons can be politicians. They're human.
Sure.
The appearance of them are not scary or like.
But we have angel and demon in all of us too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So
I like my demon part, frankly. It's quite fun.
so depends on how you use it, on how you feed it.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Yes.
It can be destructive
Yeah.
if you let it go out of control.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
So I believe that. Like, that's my opinion.
I agree.
In my opinion, there are good forces, there are bad forces if there are non-human intelligence. If.
But if you, I'm just looking at disclosure now again. I know a lot about really the way that angels work. Angels being like our guardian angels, our spirit guides, if you like. They will never actually interfere with a human's personal development. They will support. If you ask for support or information, you'll get it. But they will never step in and interfere with your growth. And why I'm mentioning that is that this could well just be a parallel with the supposed drones and orbs, that they are making themselves known to us, but maybe they think, okay, humans aren't really ready for full disclosure yet, but we'll just let them know that we are here and change is coming. That this is my version of what's happening now.
Yeah, but the approach that the governments took already, it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere with what the non-human intelligence do.
Well, I think they're pooing themselves and don't know what to do with all this stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, so you
Well,
wanna-
when you get answers like what we started this talk with from the FAA, that you don't need to have two wits to rub together to see that's just a whole load of woo woo. Do you? Well, that's a good word, woo woo. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, we know all this horrible stuff's happening over there, and we know that these drones are fluffing around all over the world. But I wonder, imagine if they're just a distraction for something we haven't even thought of yet that's happening. I don't know what that is. I don't know something that anyone else doesn't, that others don't, but could this be some smoke screen for something more than what is happening with politically or I lost my plot there.
Well, I think what is happening, to be fair with like what is actually happening, they move the clock of doomsday, nuclear catastrophe,
Yeah.
closer to the midnight, which is the time,
Yeah.
which is the point of like destruction. So every expert in the world that works with this and analyze the data or like geopolitics or whatever, they believe that we're getting closer to
Yes.
that. And that's the feeling that probably non-human intelligence got. Like, oh yeah, we should have stopped them. We should show up and tell them who's the boss, and not who's the boss, but who's in charge here.
Yeah.
And you don't get to destroy this planet like probably maybe you destroyed Mars.
Yes. Exactly.
So-
Many millions of years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
And that's why I think they've shown up. The main reason is that we are so unstable.
Yes. And that is my personal opinion, and a little bit of inside information that I'm privileged to know is just that these things are not man-made. They are here to observe and warn humans. Don't you mess with nuclear weapons or we'll stop you.
And I think they want to protect the planet.
That's what I mean. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course they do. Yeah.
That's their
because-
main goal. That's the main
Yes.
importance for them. It's just the planet itself.
Well, maybe even more than the planet, because as I understand it, with nuclear weapons, they don't damage just the immediate environment, but they kind of
Rip through the cosmos.
yeah, quite enormous destruction. Because I really strongly believe in the idea of microcosm as macrocosm on all levels, down to subatomic and way down to smallness we can't imagine, up to bigness we can't imagine. Everything's actually connected. This dimension thing is only our concept of things here in this dimension. We think things are big or small. In fact, they're all the same. They're all connected. So to me, it's really common sense that if we set off a nuclear bomb here, it's going to in some way affect everything. They just disrupt somehow the flow of the cosmos.
Yeah, I believe so.
So that's why I think all these things are buzzing around.
I think people in power are so unstable. Like if you just
Yes.
if you just have a list of people in power, okay, Donald Trump, Putin,
Yes.
and in all the European countries, it feels like the right parties are in power or getting
Yes.
to
Yes.
be in power soon.
North Korea's not looking terribly
Oh,
stable.
that little fellow, that lovely fellow.
Yes.
Yeah,
Possibly even your home country's not looking that stable.
yeah. Iran
Yes.
and Israel.
Yeah, well, yeah. Put
Benjamin.
those two together.
Benjamin should be on top. Benjamin. You know, it's not his real name, right?
I don't care.
His real name is like, I don't know. He's from the Eastern Bloc in Europe. So he has some type of, like a Miroslav something. I don't know. But I'm going to put it up here. His real name that he changed to
Okay.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
Okay, yeah. Well,
So,
there you have it.
he's unstable.
Mass
Trump is unstable.
instability, yeah.
Is all of these people are not
And that's
qualified to be leaders.
No, and that's quite enough to just mess up the entire planet.
And that's quite enough
Any
to
one of them.
worry these NHI
Yeah, of course.
people, NHI beings.
Planet guardians, I like to think of them, or cosmos guardians.
I would say NHI.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
It's just
All the
shorten into NHI.
Fair enough.
And that's the thing is happening right now. By the way, there is another whistleblower that came out in Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh, okay.
JRE. So Richard Dolan, this guy, was working with like a ASAP, and he was involved in cover up for all these events, all these sightings. So, but he has a change of heart, like from a couple years ago. So he works with like now he's like working with disclosure and try to. Some say it's just a CIA agent still and try to muddy the water with his information, which it can be true possibly. But what he says now about the newest administration and that report from drones that are FAA-approved drones, he has a really good take on it. So let's just listen to it.
Good afternoon. To anyone who has closely followed the mystery drones over the last few months, the White House's statement yesterday was a bit of a disappointment. This came from the new press secretary,
You can watch
Caroline
it because
Leavitt,
people can see.
claiming that the drones were simply FAA-approved craft conducting research and other activities. This is in her words. So extremely inaccurate.
Conducting research and other activities. Other activities like having a picnic and like go visit grandma. What are you talking about? What the fuck? What the fuck that's supposed to mean even?
Filming naked people in their gardens.
Yeah, take naked pictures of like people fucking around or whatever.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking
fails to
about?
address the extraordinary nature of these sightings, at least as described by the witnesses. Moreover, it doesn't address the global scope of the phenomenon and just the baffling capabilities of the objects involved. So I'm going to give a fairly thorough breakdown of the problems with this explanation. And I've got the clip of Caroline Leavitt. I'm going to play that for you in just a second. It's very short. Before we jump in, let me just thank you for supporting my channel here. If you are not yet a subscriber, please consider becoming one. Also, I am grateful for your help just by liking the video and sharing it if you think
If you're not a subscriber, please become one.
it warrants that. So now let's watch the new White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, and she's going to discuss this here.
Before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States.
How old is she? 20?
16.
gave her like the huge responsibility, and she's freaking out. Like, go there, try to keep your face straight and lie.
In the Oval Office, from President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy. A statement from the President of the United States to start this briefing with some news. And with that, I will turn it over to questions.
Okay, so that was the complete statement. Now, they can't not know how lame that was, right? Now, that was very controlled, not spontaneous, and totally vague.
It's like nobody, like even themselves, they know. It's like,
Yeah.
that sounds so not true.
Woo woo.
That sounds like, we just say like,
Yes.
we repeatedly said we don't know what these drones are, and now we say like, oh no, it's just FAA.
Yes.
FAA. Oh, they know. Yeah, it's them. It's like they're almost like child play to say like, oh no, this is FAA. It was a miscommunication
Yeah.
for over 2 months.
So when you think about it, when this all started, whenever it was, October, November, we're really at the same place, in spite of all the disclosures of people that have come forward and said, okay, yes, we've got UFOs and blah, blah, and blah, blah, blah. That's great. That's really good. But we're still in the same situation as we were back then with these drones and orbs and who knows what. Yeah. So, yeah, whoopee.
Let's see what more he has to say.
Explanation, and inadequate, to put it mildly. So I'm going to review some of the problems of this statement. We're going to go over the facts as we understand them regarding these drones, or perhaps we should say so-called drones, since, as we shall see, there are some highly unusual qualities about them. And I do think we are making a mistake by sometimes lazily, I think, referring to them all as drones, or at least so it seems to me. So, first of all, the drone mystery has involved military bases elsewhere, particularly the United Kingdom.
But FAA has a how do you say, the restrictions to fly drones over UK.
Oh.
No, they don't. But
No. Oh.
I assume they have, because they say
Well, they seem
they
to
were
have.
FAA.
Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah, and not only that, all over the globe.
Oh, yes, of
Yes.
course. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
As America first.
Yeah.
Yes,
Sure.
why not?
Why not?
Their drones were observed near sensitive military installations there, including Royal Air Force RAF bases. These sightings caused a significant amount of disruptions and raised concerns at this time about national security when they were happening last November. For example, at RAF Lakenheath, that's a major U.S. Air Force base in the UK, drone incursions forced the base to ground flights and to scramble fighter jets. The drones displayed advanced capabilities, including stealth-like behavior.
So these drones that were FAA approved were shut down the how do you say, airports.
Yeah. Wow. Look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? You know,
Why not? Yeah.
The ability to the ability to evade radar detection. The UK government, just like the United States government, was really never able to provide any clear answers about the origin and or purpose of these objects. In fact, this is a phenomenon involved other parts of the world, not just the UK. Germany, Denmark, the Middle East. In Germany, for instance, drone swarms were observed near Ramstein.
like we all know this information, and I don't know, it pisses me off, almost makes me angry. How stupid do they think we are?
Very.
Like how dumb? Like what?
Very,
We
very
forget
stupid.
what happened or what is
Yes.
happening?
Yeah.
Like it's still happening.
Yeah.
What the fuck? It's like what?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We're very stupid. Yes. I'm not being facetious. I'm pretty sure that's what the approach is. Yeah. Yeah. Don't believe anything sort of attitude.
Air base. That is a critical NATO installation. They were described as large, as silent, as operating in coordinated patterns. In Denmark, witnesses reported seeing up to 20 drones flying over the Koge harbor, where they just disappeared into the sea, apparently. These international sightings, it goes without saying, challenge the White House's claim that these drones were simply an FAA-approved craft, since the FAA has no jurisdiction over foreign airspace.
Oh.
Jurisdiction. I knew that they don't have it. Of course they don't have it. What? Like FAA has jurisdiction to fly drones all over the globe? It doesn't make sense.
No.
So
Good
that's
point.
that's what I
Yeah.
mean. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Very interesting.
Car-sized or SUV-sized drones.
Have you ever seen one of those in real life?
No.
No. I got a drone.
Well, I see one in the display in a exhibition in China,
Oh, okay.
but they didn't have the I don't know. They haven't built millions of them.
Okay.
Even though they don't have these characteristics of these drones that they change shape, they change lights, they suddenly turn to orbs and suddenly morphing back into drones, and they even in a drone shape they change shape.
Boy.
Yeah.
The fact that these drones had baffling capabilities needs to be addressed. These were not ordinary drones, at least many of them were not. Some of the capabilities, they were large, some of them described as car size or even SUV size. This is much larger than typical hobbyist or commercial drones. They could loiter, that is hover, for extremely long periods of time. We're talking 5-6 hours. This is far more advanced than even high-level drones that we are familiar with. This would require, now we don't have to say UFO-related propulsion system, but certainly highly advanced propulsion systems. Furthermore, speed and maneuverability of some of these were very, very fast. We're talking really extraordinary speeds alleged for at least some of them, as well as impossible maneuvers. We're talking instant acceleration, sharp turns, and even, disappearing.
As you describe it, what you saw in the sky was like
Yes.
moving
Yeah.
with the rapid speed and like stop,
Yes.
hovering
3
and then
times.
moving. So how can you explain that?
No.
How can you relate that to drones?
No, I don't. but I mean, that's obvious in the beginning. But yeah, that was definitely no drone. That was it. No, it's not possible.
And reappearing at times. And then they were also stealthy, giving off no thermal signatures at times or radar signals, so making them virtually undetectable, at least, again, in some instances. So all of this suggests to me And I think to many analysts, we're talking about things that are far more advanced than anything publicly recognized. That raises a lot of questions about their origin and their purpose, for sure. And then you have this whole claim, multiple claims that were given here, that they've come from the Atlantic Ocean. You had, for example, the U.S. Coast Guard. This, by the way, I don't think is a genuine photograph. I think someone put that one together and made it look pretty cool. But you have the U.S. Coast Guard encountering a swarm of drones that we are told rose out of the Atlantic Ocean and followed their ship at an altitude of less than 300 feet. Very low. Now, it would be nice to get a more clear confirmation of it, but this came actually from New Jersey politicians who stated that they got this directly from the Coast Guard. So what's going on with that? You had similar reports coming in from other coastal areas where witnesses described objects apparently launching from the water and flying inland. So now we want to confirm this, we want to investigate it, but I think it would be useful to get some kind of addressing of this particular issue. That behavior is obviously, to put it mildly, inconsistent with any kind of conventional drone operations. And then again, it raises the possibility of underwater launch platforms, or even, let's just put this out there, potential non-human technology. Furthermore, the FAA and the government agencies, first of all, they had no answer.
And exactly, the FAA itself issue flight restrictions for drones, and people is still watching, witnessing, and sighting drones.
Yeah.
Not as much, but still they were sighting drones. So,
Yes.
And when those sightings first began, we all remember this. The FAA and various other government agencies all claim they had no idea what these objects were, who was operating them, and then the FAA issues flight restrictions over a very significant area, most of New Jersey, all of Long Island, and going into lower New York State as well. So they're essentially acknowledging this mystery. But now we're told by the White House that these were FAA-approved drones. Why would the agency a couple of months ago deny any knowledge at the time of something that it supposedly had authorized and apparently did not tell any other government agency about, including the military, by the way?
So FAA has a new chef, I don't understand, because they say a couple of weeks ago, they say they don't know what they are, and now they say no, these are FAA approved vehicles.
Yes.
So I don't understand. Did something change? Is there a new boss there? I don't understand. I really don't understand it.
Of course. No. I mean, like he said, you don't have. It's obviously bluff.
But that shows they lie. And
why are you surprised?
Yeah, but this is how do you say, pathologically lying?
Yes.
Pathologically?
Yes.
It's like
they can't help themselves.
Yeah, it's like what do you talk? What? I wonder how how journalists reacted to what she reported. I haven't seen it.
No.
So I want to see what were the follow-up questions from journalists.
You know what we could follow up to is to see if some of these other countries have put out statements about these things, like Germany.
Yeah, the only thing that I've heard was from Germany that
you said shoot them down. Yeah.
Yeah, but they still didn't come up with any explanation what they are.
No, that's what I'm saying. I wonder.
There is no transparency anywhere.
No. Would be good, wouldn't it? To hear something from someone else.
I hope, and I don't think that these activities will stop anytime soon.
No, I don't either.
And that just put fuel in the fire that we need disclosure.
Yes.
We are fighting, and people were fighting for disclosure since 50s.
Yes, I know. But this is me now. This is my idea, which I've already said, and I'll say it again. I don't think that they know shit, frankly. Any of the governments, I'm not just pointing to America. That number one, about what's happening now, not generally. And number two is I'm really sure that they are here as watching us for the nuclear thing.
You're a better man than I am, because I think they know everything. They know ins
I
and
don't.
outs of it. They know every single details. They might be in contact with these NHI.
Yeah. Well,
beings.
okay. They might know, but they've got no control over it.
No, but it's like they know if they disclose this to public, they're gonna be secondary.
Yes, exactly. Of course.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing that they don't
Yeah.
want to, especially
Exactly.
Trump.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm putting my money on that, mister. Whether or not they know is nearly irrelevant, in my opinion. I'm sure they don't have control over these things, whatever they are. And I'm sure that they are watchdogs for us so that we don't do dumb shit to the cosmos.
But that actually makes sense. Let's see what he's... go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm finished.
Let's see what he says more. Although I don't trust him fully, but he makes good points here.
He does, yeah, very much.
So
yeah.
whoever is watching, don't trust that guy. Unless he says something credible. Don't go with his ideas or like assumptions, because he can be the CIA agent that's still working undercover.
So could we.
Yeah, I am.
Let's say at least interruption of activities in a variety of places, including military bases. These drones were observed also near nuclear facilities, various air bases, and several sensitive military installations. They interfered with the Picatinny arsenal in New Jersey. We were told that they interfered for at least a time with the operation of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. That's U.S. Air Force headquarters. So we have that, and we have other military installations as well that we knew at the time these were affecting. Then you have airports. You had some airports that were forced to ground flights due to unknown objects in their airspace. Law enforcement, you had local police, local sheriff's departments reporting that they were pursuing drones that went dark, we're told, or disappeared when they were investigating it. So again, you've got matters that at least at the time that they were being described were at least of potential national security implications. And, you know, the White House at the time was not giving any decent explanation for it whatsoever. And we're still not getting a good explanation. And, you know, furthermore, let's just say communities were feeling betrayed. I remember this extremely. This is just a couple of months.
I feel betrayed personally. It's like, you know, I put so much, you know, hope, and like I was so positive about like, oh, maybe they finally, with all these different group of disclosure fighters, Stephen Greer, Ross Coulthart, Jeremy Corbell, all these different sides, and gathering all these whistleblowers, and the hearing from Congress repeatedly. I was like, okay, yeah, then now it's time. Now they recognize, no, it is time to be open, to be transparent, to explain to people, oh yeah, there are things happening, we don't know what they are at best, to start with. But they just came out with a astonishing lie that, yeah, these were FAA-approved vehicles. And that was like, what the hell?
There might be a slight little slither of truth. Maybe there were some FAA-approved ones up there too. But I bet you most of them weren't.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Because I can't believe that.
Yes. I mean, if I had a drone and all this was going on, I'd get out there and fly my drone too.
Exactly.
Just to be part of the fun.
But there were some like people were reporting that when they fly their, they normal drones close to these objects, the drone goes out of battery or fall.
Yes, I heard the same.
Somehow
Yeah.
affects the drones, normal drones.
Fall out.
Yeah.
Yeah, fall down. Yeah.
Yeah, so
months ago. You had local officials constantly demanding better answers. Several mayors in New Jersey calling for.
by the way, Ross Coulthard will interview the mayor of New Jersey tonight.
Oh, okay. Good.
I don't think the mayor of New Jersey is happy with what came out.
I
in
have heard
the report.
so, yes.
Yeah, so that's very interesting to follow
Yeah.
up and see what they say.
Sure.
Transparency, better answers from the federal government, which they were not getting. They were expressing frustration over the lack of information that they were getting from these federal agencies and the inconsistent explanations that they were given as well. These came from members of Congress as well. All of these individuals demanding clarity, and those demands were ignored then under the Biden White House, leaving communities feeling ignored, and I would even say betrayed. And they're getting the exact same brush off now, it appears, from the new administration, the Trump administration.
I don't think it's the same. At least they say we don't know.
That's right. Yeah. They did. Yeah.
These new administrations say we
Yeah.
know. We know.
Yes.
It's like it's ours. It's like such a bad lie. It's like, God, just say something that like at least there is like a layer of how do you say layer of
Reality to it.
yes, something that you cannot call bullshit
Yes.
on
Yeah.
site. It's like bullshit. Say
Yes.
oh.
administration. Beyond that, I think you can say some of this was genuinely unnerving and frightening to people. Look, I mean, in New Jersey, you had residents reporting seeing large, unidentifiable objects hovering over their homes and their communities. Who's not going to be at least a little bit scared there, or even more afraid, particularly when some of these witnesses describe the objects as otherworldly, some of them did, and just expressing concerns over their safety. Again, we're getting a very dismissive explanation back then as well as now. And I think it's fair to acknowledge that some of these dismissive explanations will only exacerbate or amplify some of these fears since they're going to feel that the government is not taking their concerns seriously. When Donald Trump was elected, but before he was inaugurated, he talked about this. Prior to his inauguration, primarily, he pledged to provide transparency about the drone phenomenon. He criticized rightly.
Bullshit. Bullshit. I don't know, if you're a Trump supporter, you should do something now. It's up to you. It's up to all of us, but mostly you.
He criticized the Biden administration for its lack of answers and promised to give you a report on the drones about 1 day into the administration. Now, I'm not going to complain that it took 9 days. Okay, fine. That's okay. But this answer, are you kidding me? The whole thing just falls flat. FAA-approved craft conducting research is just not credible. It doesn't explain the anomalous capabilities of these objects. It does not explain their global presence. It does not explain the fact that these objects allegedly emerged from the ocean. It does not address the initial denials of knowledge by the FAA and other agencies, nor the disruptions to military and civilian activities. No one believes it. No one believes this explanation.
Rightfully so.
I checked out public responses to this in all different forums all over the place. I don't think anyone believes this. I would say universal complete calls of BS on the government for what they just said on this whole thing. So, and you don't even have to be a UFO, a part of the UFO community or field or research it. I don't think so at all. I really think that most folks who just sort of casually follow this, they're going to listen to this explanation and go, sure. Is this the best you got? Like, you had so much that you were going to say about this and just nothing. So I think people are just not buying it. In fact, it's obvious people are not buying it. Now, why? Why was this answer so bad? Well, I mean, there's a couple of reasons.
So at least I'm glad that he had the same opinion that as we have.
Yes.
Nobody buys it.
No.
It's such a weird thing. And as he says, you don't have to be UFO enthusiast to be like, outraged by the answer.
I felt really sorry for that nice lady having to read that out. It didn't sound anything. There was a hollow feeling.
Yeah, it was. She wasn't convincing, right?
No.
How could she?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Why you could understand. I mean, first of all, whether you're the Biden White House or the Trump White House, I mean, think about how difficult this would be for them to do this. You have this situation going back through all history. Just this isn't the first UFO wave that's ever happened. 40 years ago, north of New York City, they had the infamous Hudson Valley wave of sightings. Thousands of witnesses there. Do you really think that the FAA back then was going to say, yeah, there are these unknown craft, huge boomerangs just hanging out over the highway?
By the way, like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We're going to give you a good roundup of what's happening. We're going to follow everything closely, and we're going to update as soon as something comes out. So please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't know who they are. They're not going to do that. And I think it's the same today. So you've got just the difficulty of admitting this. The old expression, in for a penny, in for a pound. It's like, if you're going to give a little bit of an explanation, you're going to probably have to give a much bigger explanation.
Yeah, that's the thing they're afraid of.
Yeah.
Because they know if they say it's like if they give an inch, they have to go in a mile.
Well, I hope so. Yeah.
That's the whole thing. If they say like, oh, we don't know what they are, and then they're like, so they are UAP. It was funny because in the last administration they say, no, we don't know what they are, and the reporter, the journalist says like, so why don't you call them UAPs? It's literally what the term is standing for when you don't know what a vehicle is in the air. It's like, no, they're not UAPs. It's like, how do you say they're not? You don't know what they are. They are UFOs or UAPs.
Yes.
Call them UAPs. And now, if they want to call them UAPs, then there is more explanation needed. They have to go,
of course,
deep into it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to say that these drones are unknown, which, let's face it, some of them undoubtedly are, then it's going to be difficult for you to then avoid saying, yeah, well, this whole UFO thing is kind of a big unknown as well. Like, they don't want to do that. So with that said, but you still have potential national security concerns. Like, you could at least recognize that the White House may believe that revealing the true nature of these objects could compromise national security as they see it, or maybe ongoing investigations. National security is the great blanket. They use this for everything. But if you're thinking of it from a military point of view, these objects are unknown. Where are they coming from? They're not going to want to admit that. So that's an obvious, that's a given. Public panic. Sometimes we tend to underestimate that, but public panic is a genuine possibility. If you follow the UFO subject with any, if you've been following this for a while, if you've got friends who are kind of casual about this, this has happened to me many times. I'll talk to people. I go in for like 2 minutes. I give my little spiel. And you can sometimes see the fear on someone else's face when they sometimes for the first moment ever in their lives, recognize, wow, what if this is actually real? Like, that is frightening to a certain number of people. And so there's always that consideration. But then the fact is, I wondered if this is just a delay tactic. You know, Trump said, okay, I'm going to give this to you on the first or second day of my administration. Okay, fine. So you could recognize that maybe it takes a little bit more time than that actually get on top of this. That's easy to see. I can imagine that the White House still may be gathering information, may not feel that they're ready to disclose what they know, but they made such a big thing about this in the buildup that they had to say something as lame and as weak as it is. So if you are willing to cut them slack, and I realize a lot of people are not willing to, fine. But if you were, you might say, well, maybe they'll do better next month.
Well, yeah, that would be the case if they would come out and say, like, yeah, we don't know exactly what they are yet. We're doing the investigation and we're going to come up with a full report about them.
Yep.
Then I'm not crazy. I will be like, okay, yeah, I understand that. But when they come out and say these are FAA-approved draft, what's left? They're like, yeah, go figure. I want to cut them a slack, but
No,
how?
I know, I agree. It's made the doo-doos deeper.
What's there to be hopeful about? You
Yes.
just said
Yeah.
these are fine. These are ours.
You know, I would really love to hear behind the scenes in North Korea what's happening there, because you can bet that there's been a lot of activity there. If my thesis is correct, and I feel it is. I mean, to me, that's probably one of the most unstable areas from what we understand.
Okay, I think what they did was a strategic move, that they like shot down this like a hype train of UFO disclosure,
Yeah,
or at least they tried.
yeah.
You know, because everyone thought like with Trump in the office, it's gonna be, as he said himself,
Yeah.
promised that it's gonna be a transparency. He's gonna release the report to public and let people know what exactly is happening.
You know what could have happened in there is that we think he's almighty and powerful, but he's probably got told by the ones behind the scenes,
Like, shut the fuck up.
yes, this is what you get to say, mate.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. That's a possibility.
It's another
too.
possibility.
Yeah. Yes. True.
Mm.
But either way, I don't think there is a stop in this train. There won't be.
No, I don't either.
Like, because
That's what makes it exciting.
it's just more whistleblowers coming out left and right, and it feels like people got to the point. Those whistleblowers got to the point. It's like, yeah, but I have to. Like, I've sitting on this for 10 years as the other guy, the egg-shaped UFO guy, that sit on it for 10 years. It's like there is no other way to deal with this shit than to come out. And now it feels like the field is like prepared, and it's like,
Yes, yeah.
there is a base for everything, so they don't sound crazy if they come out with their stories. We're gonna follow this. We're gonna follow this
Yes.
closely, and we're gonna
It's very exciting.
report on
Yeah.
any new updates or any new whistleblowers and everything. So
I feel it can really lead somewhere really, really good for mankind, and nothing to do with woo-woo politicians.
no, hopefully it's gonna just reveal their hands,
Yes.
that they are just there to control and I don't know,
And they're
polarize people, and
and that
like
they're not the alpha males on the planet.
that's very important. They're not APAC.
No.
They're not APAC.
They're not BPEX.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they're
I'm
not
silly.
PAC. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool that we are at that point now. Because if you think about it, even 50 years ago, they could have ridiculed you to death if you talk about UFO, UAP, or alien,
Yes.
or non-human intelligence, or any of this.
Mm.
But now it's just like a accepted topic to talk about, especially with the recent activities. So that's a big change, but bigger changes are coming,
Yes.
and I can feel it.
Me
And I'm
too.
excited
Oh,
about it,
yeah.
and I'm all open for it. I stay open-minded. I'm not gonna just be a believer and say, "Oh, NHI, UFO, UAP." I'm
No.
open-minded to all the possibilities, but
yeah.
I don't take bullshit lightly.
Good.
If you want to bullshit me professionally. Like, say something that at least it take a minute for me to realize it's bullshit. Not like
Yes.
when you say it, I'm like, bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Right away, bullshit.
I would like to add just that I agree with you 100%. But I think the process might be very disruptive on all aspects of life and the process, but we'll end up in a much better place.
Yeah, let's hope for that.
Yes.
Let's end on that.
Yes.
Thank you, Lai.
Thank you, Mani.